And that was Queen, and you're my best friend. Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
absolutely delighted.
Just for me.
You're a bit more than a best friend, I think. Anyway,
Right,
I'm really...
We'll stop there.
Yeah, stop there. I'm really excited and I'm really happy to say hello to Emma Wright, who's joined us from the Maltings Theatre in St Albans.
Hello.
Hiya.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful
You're
to have you.
welcome.
So you're one of the actors, aren't you? I'm correct in saying actor, aren't I, rather than
Yes.
actress? That's kind of old hat actress
Sort of,
now.
I don't know, it's kind of personal preference. I prefer actor. It sounds more
Okay,
serious.
yes.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you've been busy. So I'm really, really interested because the Maltings Theatre in St Albans is actually going to open up the theatres.
Yes.
You've done open air before because we
Yep.
spoke to Adam about that. When would that have been? Beginning of August, I think it was.
Yes, yeah, we were sort of in
End
the...
of July, beginning
Yes,
of
that's right.
August, and then so there was an outdoor open air theatre, which is great, and luckily we had reasonable weather most of the time,
Yeah.
not towards the end of
No,
August.
no, torrential rain and a bit of lightning, but apart from that, it was an experience.
Just give him an umbrella.
But that seemed to be more acceptable. But now you're actually going inside, and this has been a big controversial thing for
Yeah,
all
how
theatres
are you
across the
doing
country.
It has.
So I'm really intrigued as to how, you're one of the first to open up, I think.
Yep.
And that's from next week. So tell us a little bit about the sort of process, how it's all gone about, and then we'll talk about the programme, that's coming as well.
Sure. Well, we had, as you said, we had a bit of a trial run, I suppose, when we opened at the open air theatre.
Right.
So everybody had to get their heads around social distancing, so
Yeah.
working out how we could get as many people in as possible, but keeping everybody safe. So reorganising the seating that they've been able to set up time and time again, and it's worked very, very well. And making sure that we had as much as possible of a one-way system as people were coming in, making sure people had enough time to get in, but not too much time, so that they were then hanging around and milling around and
A
sneezing
lot of
all over everybody.
organisation, really.
Yes, very much. And the front of house staff are absolutely amazing, and so making sure there's very nice smelling hand sanitizer, I have to say. So there are different standards of hand sanitizer these days. So no, they did very well. Making
Nothing
sure
wrong
that
with the smell of alcohol.
not too early in the morning.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Making sure that people were aware that the toilets weren't available unless you were absolutely bursting, so making sure the plays were of a reasonable length so that people knew there wasn't going to be an interval.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of information that went out in advance so that the audiences knew what to expect when they got there, and therefore were able to kind of go along with all of the various requirements that enabled it all to go ahead.
Yeah.
So to a certain extent they'd done all of their homework in terms of what needed to be done and how best to make it work and how to still make it a relaxing and enjoyable and entertaining experience for the audience. So obviously that's what they're there for. They don't want to be reminded constantly of the situation that we're in.
One of the problems is you put all these into place and you've got it all worked, and now it then relies on the public to do as they're asked.
Absolutely. But to be fair, I think audiences are so desperate to get back into the theatres, and they're pretty well behaved. I mean, it's not like sort of
they get expelled if they don't behave.
Well, exactly. Well, I was going to say it's easier than trying to herd groups of sixth formers and things like that who sort of have their own ideas. So they tend to be slightly better behaved. And the other thing was that I think we'd maybe forgotten that it was the first time that a lot of people had really been out. So by the time we got to performances, we were all kind of sort of back in the groove a little bit, and used to being with other people. So the initial absolutely wonderful excitement of being back in a room with people had come and gone in a way. And then it was amazing and really quite moving actually to be in an audience where you saw that there were people who were still very, very anxious about being out.
That's been one of the problems, isn't it, with being locked away. People have been anxious about going out. A bit of agoraphobia to a degree. But then I think people will get through that and then realise how much they missed and probably appreciate it even more.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, it was some of the performances that we had were just, I'm sort of feeling all kind of fizzy just thinking about it. Actually, we had a couple where the feeling from the audience was just unbelievable, and I think it was partly because of the nature of the play that we were doing. It's partly the setting, which is absolutely beautiful, but a big part of it I think was just the timing.
It's a release.
Yes, totally.
It's like a pressure cooker, and you just release the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, the beginning of August I actually went out to one of the open air cinemas where they actually did it was some of the West End stars, people like Kerry Ellis and people like that were up there singing, and they were singing songs from well-known West End shows, and we were all in our cars, but just to be in there and have that live performance in front of you again, I'm someone who's used to going to the theatre quite a lot. It was like very emotional, actually.
Yeah.
Very emotional and wonderful. I hadn't realised quite how much I'd missed live. I'd seen lots of things on TV or on Zoom or various other ways, but to have it live just made so much difference.
I think to a certain extent, you almost. I've certainly personally felt that you, for the sake of your own sanity, to a certain extent, you have to shut those bits off.
Yeah.
Because if you were constantly worrying about what you were missing and missing things, then it can really sort of pull you down. So to a certain extent, you almost have to sort of just shut it down. And then, as you say, when you get back into it, it's like this huge rush of emotion when you're sort of back in the back in that
because
situation.
people have been locked away. A lot of people. I mean, I was in a way fortunate that my life didn't change. I went to work every day. I drove up and down the A1 every day, like I've always have done. The only thing I missed out was the weekend bits, but I was being socially interactive with people. And when people have been locked away and they haven't had that social interaction, there's that sort of nervousness about what's going to happen.
Yeah. Definitely.
And, and all the things that you've had to put in place to allow people to come out is really good.
Yeah.
Yes, I think they've done a brilliant job. I mean, I was looking.
It's risk assessment. That's what it
totally.
is.
It's more paperwork, which thankfully I don't have to deal with. But hats off to the people.
I'm a health and safety rep. I hate paperwork.
So there's a new programme inside the theatre starting from next week.
Exciting! I haven't been in since I think the last show that I did indoors was in November last year. I think so. We did As You Like It which I think was November. Then we obviously had Zoom and everything had started steadily falling apart after that. But so it's going to be brilliant.
So you're looking forward to it from an actor's perspective, and being part of that team, putting things on.
Getting out there again.
And particularly actually for the shows that either had just started when we went into lockdown. So 39 Steps, which is the show that they're opening with, I think they'd had a week or a weekend, and then lockdown hit. So that was pulled. So they've kind of everything. I think for their set was actually left in place at the Maltings for the whole time until we went in to start rehearsing for the summer shows. So they're the first ones back in, and then there's another show called the Regina Monologues, which again had been cast and was in rehearsals and was pretty much ready to go back in the springtime. So that's one of the other ones that's coming back out.
Something waiting in the wings.
Exactly. So queuing up, everyone's desperate to get back in again.
So I asked you for a song choice, and you gave me a couple. So should we listen to one now, and then we'll talk more about the programme that's due to what's due on and when that's on, so people can know how to book, etc.
Yes, lovely.
So you picked David Bowie's Starman as one of your ones. Any particular reason? Or just something
you
really like?
It's just a really, really happy song. I think it's just really uplifting, and it's one of the ones that's on my Spotify playlist on rotation, and every time it comes on, it just when the chorus kicks in, it's just
you just join in.
Uplifting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's inappropriate.
Well, we'll listen to David Bowie then, or Bowie.
was one of the first
I
ones to go up.
I think Zoom's been a godsend over this thing, and it was suddenly become really relevant, and a lot of people. We use Zoom every weekend, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah,
it's the only way to stay connected because you couldn't see anybody.
Well, and it's so much more convenient as well. I mean, I did an audition this morning that was done over Zoom, which prior to lockdown I would have gone into London for. Literally 10 or 15 minutes meeting with somebody and then coming home again. So
I mean, financially, it's more sensible to do it as well.
Yeah,
they can hear they know what they're looking for, and if they hear it right, you don't need to be there face to face.
Exactly. I mean, it's obviously not the same as being in the room with somebody, but having there are advantages, yes, although it is nice not to see people framed with a little
did I press the mute button or unmute?
Can you unmute yourself when you didn't hear any of that?
Oh no, you're going to have to redo that audition again.
Start all over.
So tell us a bit about the programme that's planned then.
Happening?
As I say, it's quite a nice mix of a couple of shows which had either just started or were due to start when we went into lockdown. We've got 2 of the shows that we had at the Summer Festival coming back, and we've got a couple of companies coming in from outside to do pieces as well, which is lovely. So
nice,
we open with 39 Steps, which, as I say, I think had only had a couple of performances before we were shut down, and so they're the ones who open next week. So yes, all eyes on them.
And that's the comedy version, isn't it?
It's
the,
I'm looking forward to
we're actually coming along to see that.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
I haven't booked my tickets yet. I know they've sold out one night already.
Oh, cool.
So, they're down to I can't remember. I have written down here. Less than 50% capacity, so there's 67 seats per performance. So if something does tickle your fancy, then you need to get your skates on and start booking.
Yeah, we're going to have to clap even louder and laugh even louder.
Yes, exactly, I know.
So less than 50, we'll have to double our enthusiasm.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, expectations are high. So
you'll see people with megaphones.
Yeah, so that's the first one to open, and then we have Henry V and then Merry Wives of Windsor, which were the 2 Shakespeares that were on at the Roman Festival,
right? At
the open air festivals,
and they're done with a kind of a twist, aren't they? Because they're not just straightforward as you would expect Shakespeare to be. They've got their own modernisation.
Yes. Which is sort of the way that OVO do things anyway. Right, but Henry is kind of in a wrapper which is setting it in a school, so it's done as a school production. That they are rehearsing and they have to adhere to social distancing. So it's set in a present day school, doing it as
that's
a
really
school
cool. Yeah, that's great.
So they're all dressed in their school uniform with ties and cricket bats and all sort. All the stuff that they would find lying around the school hall is used to good effect. So cool. And then Merry Wives of Windsor, which I'm in.
You're in?
So,
yes. Tell us what part you're playing.
I am Alice Ford, so I am the wife of Frank Ford, who owns the manor and the gardens in which the play is set. So it's set as a rock festival. In our rather large back garden. So Full Staff is the lead singer of this band called Spirit of Wantonness, who are kind of big 80s hair rock, leather jackets, big hair.
So that's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
My era, definitely. 70s and 80s.
It is good. It's all karaoke hits. Yeah.
So the hair's a bit of a problem these days.
So I'm sure we can find you something.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, you'd be quite funny in a wig. I'll have to try.
Here we go. Now you've started.
Come along and come dressed up, get into the spirit of things. So that's the one that I'm in. So both of those went down very well in the summer. So it'll be nice to have another chance to bring those back out again. Then we move on to the Regina Monologues, which is directed by Anna Franklin, who is also in Merry Wives with me. She's my sort of partner in crime in Merry Wives. And again, this was one which was ready to go when we went into lockdown. So it's nice that they're getting the chance to actually put it on.
Yeah, that's good.
There's nothing worse. There must have been a lot of people that have done all this rehearsal and then suddenly shut down, and then it's starting to open up again, and it's been sidelined because it can't be done or something.
Yeah, or things being recast as well. I did hear one story of somebody finally making their West End debut and shut down a week later.
Oh, that's terrible.
Beyond heartbreaking. Yeah. Because you just don't know what's going to come back, particularly with the way the theatres are at the moment. Shutting such around, and there's just you don't know what's going to be open, let alone what's going to be on, and who's going to be in it. So
yeah, exactly.
Testing times.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the festival goes on to the end of November, doesn't it? So it's,
yes, that's right.
There's a whole heap of other ones after all the ones I've just
so I think
mentioned,
everybody's got a week, I think.
Right.
So
yes.
Get in there, get it done.
Get in there, next.
Get out. Next.
So and as I say, we've got the next 3. So we've got an opera, which is coming in from an outside company. Which sounds brilliant, actually. It's set in the West Wing of the White House, so very current.
Oh, yes,
really looking forward to that. It sounds good.
That could be controversially interesting.
Yes.
So when's the elections? Is it that week?
I think it's actually been programmed to say yes. Exactly.
That was very clever programming.
That is very clever. Yeah.
So yeah, it should be a good one, actually. That one I've heard.
Yeah, that could be
that could what that's going to be about,
spark some interesting debate.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, could do. Yeah.
We'll keep our opinions to ourselves on this show.
Well, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Then we move on to a one-woman show, A Room of One's Own, by a performer called Rebecca Vaughan, who's done quite a lot at the Maltings over the years. And also a lot at places like Edinburgh, was due to take everything on tour, and obviously she was very badly hit.
Right, yes,
her company was very badly hit, so it's nice to get them back in, and that's meant to be a fantastic show, and again, another one that I'm going to be living there, I think, in the next 2 months, either between performing and actually going to
camp bed and sleeping bag.
Yes, exactly. And then we move on to a play called Trestle, which is directed by Matthew Parker, who actually also is directing the Henry V, which was on in the summer, and which is again in a couple of weeks' time. I don't know a lot of details about that one, so I'm sort of seeing little bits being drip-fed on Twitter, which he likes to do, just to kind of keep everybody's interest bubbling away.
Don't give too much too soon.
Exactly. And then we finish off with some Gilbert and Sullivan, which would be nice, sort of big,
cool,
uplifting end to the
something everyone can sing along with as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So people want to buy tickets, and as you say, some of them are selling very, very quickly at the moment.
They are.
They can go on the website. Is that the best way to do it?
Yeah, that's right. So it's www.maltingstheatre.co.uk, and then from memory, there's a link which takes you through to the whole programme, and then depending on what you want to go and see, you can click through.
Pick which one you want.
And then you'll be sent an electronic ticket. So as I understand it, everything at the theatre is going to be contactless, so there are going to be no paper tickets. The bar will be open, everybody will be pleased to hear, with delivery to your seats as well, so it's all getting very posh. But you order everything over your phone. Yeah. So that there's
what
no
would
cash
we do
either,
without
so
smartphones now?
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely, yeah.
I know. In a weird way, very lucky, I suppose, that this has hit when it has, when we have things like Zoom.
If you imagine it happened like 15 years ago.
I know.
We got old press button for
just text everything.
It would have been a completely different environment, wouldn't it? Everyone would just
there was no such thing as
you
go back 15, 20 years, no such thing as contactless.
No.
Everything was physical.
Yeah. Everything would have been
now
done
you
over
can
the
wave your phone at anything and pay for it. You just have to be careful where you point it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. So thank you so much for coming in and talking to us all about the plays. I'd encourage you, if you're listening, to go and look at the programme. There's something there for everybody, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you're a little bit scared of Shakespeare, don't be, because these are really different.
They're only 90 minutes as well, so they're very redacted.
I think that's going to encourage people who wouldn't normally go and see a full Shakespeare play.
Definitely.
And with different slants they put on it, to bring it down to that.
Yeah.
And I think everybody needs to get out there and support all our theatres and that.
Absolutely, yes.
They're really struggling, or the whole entertainment industry is having problems. But getting people back into the theatre is always going to be a nightmare after
it is, but as you say, it's just encouraging people to come and have a go and trust that everything that has been put in place to keep people safe and comfortable and to have an enjoyable evening has been. Everybody's thought through everything to the nth degree.
I presume people will have to wear masks. The audience will have to wear masks all the way through.
I'm not sure, and I did check with Ada before I came out.
They're supplying masks with a pre-attached straw so you can drink.
I think on the website at the moment it's saying that when you are moving around the sort of communal areas of the theatre, you need to have your mask on, but when you're sitting down you can take it off.
Right, okay.
But then it might be that by the time we actually open, things have changed again, and you will have to have your masks on unless you're eating or drinking, like it is at the cinema at the moment.
Fair enough.
Sort of sit there, which would be very strange as a performer sitting out on See
Well, the hardest thing for a performer is you can't see the expressions really. I mean, you can see it in the eyes, but you can't really see people's mouths to see if they're laughing or whether they're smiling or
so you're just going to have to make lots of noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they just need to provide everybody with masks with a smiley face on. Yes, I know. Imagine everybody with the same smiley.
Do you know what? I think we'll have to go out and get a couple of masks with smiley faces on to wear on Tuesday when we go in to see the show. Yeah.
So I'll get a normal one just drawn with a felt pen.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You did pick another song, which was Poison by Alice Cooper. Now, there's a reason behind this one, I know.
There is. This is because it's kind of the big song for the Merry Wives of Windsor. So it's kind of the big, and it. If you like this, it kind of sets the tone for the whole play. It's kind of big, as I say. It's lots of big 80s rock tunes. There's lots of big 80s pop stuff. Loads of things to kind of sing along to, but everything's got a bit of a twist on it. But again, it's another one that sort of really makes me smile. So it's one that we had. It sort of pretty much opens the show. It's one that we had as like an additional encore on the last day when we didn't think it was necessarily going to be coming back again. So it's another kind of
and it's great that it has come back again.
I know.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again very much.
Pleasure.
Guys, if you're interested in the theatre, please go ahead and go buy tickets. Support our entertainment industry, and this is a fantastic programme. It starts next Tuesday, I think, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Next Tuesday, and then.
6 o'clock Tuesday, isn't it? Lost track of the days.
Yeah, I know.
I lost track of the month and the year. The days.
And the programme goes on to the end of November, so you've got plenty of variety in there to go and listen to, and go onto the website, the Maltings Theatre, St Albans. I'm sure you can find that if you Google it. But we're going to play one of the songs from Merry Wives of Windsor, and it's Alice Cooper and Poison.